Welcome to TFiR Let's Talk. I'm your host, Swapnil Bhartiya, and my next guest is Steve Wilkes, co-founder and CTO of Striim. Steve, it's great to have you on the show.
It's great to be here, Swapnil.
And today we're going to talk about the importance of real-time data integration for cloud adoption, particularly for hybrid cloud strategies, and what does it take to adopt a modern cloud or data architecture. But before we jump into that topic, I would love to learn a bit more about the company because you are a co-founder. So what problem you saw in the space that you created Striim? And what is the story behind the name with double I's?
The four of us that founded Striim, we were executives at Golden Gate Software. And Golden Gate was sold to Oracle in 2009. Golden Gate provided database replication for high availability and other purposes, with a focus on Oracle to Oracle, but there was heterogeneous support in there as well. But it really just moved data between databases. And in talking to customers of Golden Gate, they often said, well, there's a lot of value in that moving data. There's a lot of value in the real-timeness of that data, the fact that it's current, but it's just being moved to another database, and now it's in a database, so it's older. So the genesis of the company was really to build a full end-to-end real-time data platform that could collect data from a variety of sources in real time, sub-second after it was being created, be able to process that data, move it to where it needed to go, and do all of this in kind of a enterprise-grade fashion that was reliable, secure, could handle mission-critical applications. And so in 2012, we set about building the company, and here we are 9 years later, and we have hundreds of customers, we have a worldwide presence, and our message of real-time data is really resonating with the rest of the industry. It's something that has gone from well, what's that, to well, that kind of sounds like a nice idea, to, well, this is a must-have now. And there are lots of reasons behind that. But real-time data becoming more of a must-have has kind of obviously really helped Striim, but also really helps customers as well.
You alluded to that a bit in your answer when you're talking about the company, but I want to learn from you a bit about how would you define what exactly is a real-time data integration, and how is it kind of different from the traditional or legacy data integration models like batch integration?
Obviously, from the name, real-time implies that the data is available as soon as it's created. But that's kind of just the start of what real-time data integration is about. Probably the major difference and the major conceptual difference for people is there is no longer a notion of a batch. There's no longer a notion of a job. Real-time data integration is something that is continuous. It is 24/7, right? So you are continuously collecting data as it's being created, continually processing it, continually delivering it and putting it where it needs to go, continually monitoring this, right? So it becomes part of that 24/7 operations, and isn't a batch job that if it fails, you're not going to get your reports, you're going to have problems down the line, but you would rerun them. So that's where the notion of providing an enterprise-grade platform and kind of the mission criticality of this really comes in, because if you're running 24/7, that puts different constraints and different requirements around the software that's providing that service.
Let's talk about real-time data integration in the cloud native world, or its importance for cloud adoption. Also, I want to talk a bit about hybrid cloud, especially, or you can talk on multi-cloud, where we are running workloads, not only just different public clouds, but also on-prem as well.
Organizations' data resides in a whole bunch of different places, and the place that the data originates can differ dramatically from the place that it needs to be in order to get the answers you want to get from that data. And over time, the technology that provides that capability of providing answers has shifted. Years ago, if you're old enough, you'll remember, databases on premise and data warehouses on premise providing those kind of analytics capabilities with those older school batch integration technologies moving the data from databases to data warehouses. Then in the last decade, there was this shift to this notion of big data, that people could just move all of their data in a raw form into a huge lake and then come back later and ask questions of it and get all the answers they wanted. That was an idea that never completely materialized. And we have seen in the last few years a shift back to data warehouses and a shift back to being able to get your data in the right form, in the right structure within the data warehouse to provide the answers that your business needs. And those data warehouses, though, are no longer on-premise. They're now in the cloud, right? So there has been this shift to the cloud as where your data needs to be in order to answer your questions. But a lot of that data has stayed on-premise. The origin of that data has stayed on-premise. So data integration technologies primarily, they need to be able to get data from where it starts to where it needs to go, which in this case will be on-premise into the cloud. However, cloud has also brought about a new breed of kind of cloud-first applications where people are building new applications in the cloud. And again, the technology that is storing the data in the cloud for those applications may not be the right technology to answer the questions about that data, the reporting that you may need to do, the analytics that you may need to do. So you need to be able to integrate from the data in the cloud to, again, the data warehouse or even machine learning so that you can get the answers from your data. And this could be the same cloud, or it could be a totally different cloud. We have customers' examples where they have cloud applications that are running in Amazon in AWS, right, in an RDS database instance in AWS. But the analytics is happening in Azure because that's what they've standardized on as a place to do their analytics. So in that case, you need a hybrid multi-cloud solution where you are sourcing from AWS and delivering into Azure. So we certainly see multi-cloud, and multi-cloud could be because customers want some form of redundancy, that they don't trust a single cloud, so they want their data in multiple clouds, right? Or it could be because they are looking for a particular technology, and that technology is only available in a certain cloud. Or it could be for economic purposes, to be able to go based on pricing with one cloud or another. And so there's a whole variety of reasons why organizations choose multiple clouds. Data integration technologies need to be able to support on-premise data, on-premise sources, even on-premise targets if you're moving data back to on-premise for some reason. And all of the cloud vendors, the AWS, Google, Azure, and support all the different technologies within those cloud vendors as well: databases, data warehouses, storage, messaging systems, etc. So there's quite a lot of different moving parts there that you need to be able to connect all of those in real time if you're going to succeed in data integration. When
you're talking about a data warehouse, we also hear a lot of debate between data warehouse versus building data lakes. They have their own capabilities, they have their own limitations. And of course, cost becomes a big issue. Being able to process data becomes a big issue. The biggest challenge is to move data between clouds because you're talking about huge amount of data. So can you also touch a bit about the data lake versus data warehouse? And also when we do talk about integration, what about when data is stored in a particular data warehouse or a particular data lake, and you have to access it to run whatever queries you want to run because that capability is available on X cloud versus Y cloud?
The data lake, and especially cloud storage, and that has been a big transition from on-premise storage in a lake to cloud storage in a lake. That can be the staging point that is a precursor into building a data warehouse. It can also be a storage point from which you're going to be executing machine learning. It could also be you're storing data long-term for compliance reasons or for other audit regulatory reasons. There are a number of reasons why you would still utilize cloud storage for large volumes of data. But the notion of the data warehouse is really to try and put some structure around that. And what we've seen kind of rise alongside the cloud data warehouses is more of a self-service analytics. And this can be a combination of different integration styles as well, right? So we've talked about ETL, and for those that aren't aware, that is like extract, transform, load. And basically within that, you collect the data, you then transform it and get it into kind of the shape that you want it to be in, which kind of matches how you want to query it later. And then you put it into your target, into your data warehouse. And within a real-time platform, that would be doing all of those transforms kind of in memory, in real time, as part of the data pipeline, as part of the data stream, before you deliver it into the data warehouse. But there's another type of data integration, which is ELT, which is effectively where you are extracting the data and loading it into a target, and then you're doing the transform later within the target. And so in that case, you're kind of creating a staging area. This could be your cloud storage. This could be staging tables within a data warehouse. And you're then enabling data analysts to work with it later and massage it and get it in the form that they want in order to get the right reports. And so that kind of combination of transform it first, get it into the right form, and do these later analytics, these later transforms on it, kind of give this self-service approach, which enables people to ask more questions. And the only way that kind of really works in an effective way is if those cloud analytics tools and the cloud analytics warehouses are fast enough, right? So if you can ask a question of your data, and then it gives you some insight, and you go, wow, based on that, I wonder this. And then you can ask that question of your data, and then you can keep on going. And that is fast enough that you're not losing track. You're not having to kind of go home and come back the next day in order to see your results. That creates something really, really powerful. And so alongside flexible integration strategies, we're also seeing these kind of flexible analytic strategies as well coming into play. And of course, all of this kind of relies on the currency of the data. How up to date is the data that they're working with? And to get truly valuable results, that's really why you need your real-time data. The effectiveness of a query, the effectiveness of a report is, is this yesterday's data? Is this an hour ago? Or is this right now? And depending on the circumstance and why you're asking the question, that right now can become increasingly important. A quick example is, if you have built an application that provides inventory information as part of a buying experience across all of your brick and mortar stores. And I, as a customer, go to that and I see, I really need to get that today. I can't wait for it to be delivered tomorrow. Let's see which store has it. You find a store that has it, you go down to that store and they're like, oh, no, we sold all of those yesterday. That is a really bad customer experience, right? So having that inventory information in real time, where if they say they have it, you know they have it. If they say they don't have it, then you can look somewhere else. That really, really, really helps the customer experience. And your happy customers are repeat customers, and it's all part of the economic incentive to actually get this real-time data in place. That's just one example. There are lots of examples where real-time data improves the customer experience, improves operational efficiencies, and kind of really streamlines the business.
We are still going through, but last year, when pandemic hit us, everything came to a standstill. But it's actually all these IT cloud native technologies that kept businesses functional and operational. And all those companies who rushed to embrace cloud native or already had cloud native technology, cloud native strategy in place, they were the ones who were successful. But that was also kind of, a period where we were rushing. Now we kind of, vaccine is there, things are settling down. So the kind of cloud hangover is in a way over, and people are trying to actually figure out, because last year was just rush. So from real, your perspective, first of all, how have you seen where companies who rush to cloud accelerated their cloud native journey, what challenges they are facing, and how these technologies which were in place helped them stay operational?
So the pandemic has affected businesses in lots of different ways. And it has also given an opportunity to kind of get ready for a post-pandemic world. And insightful businesses have recognized that the post-pandemic world isn't going to be business as usual. It's not going to be business as it was prior to the pandemic. Things will change, and things will have changed permanently. There is a huge push, for example, for employees to stay remote, or at least have hybrid working capabilities. The importance of an accurate and real-time online presence for almost every organization has become increasingly important as the way of dealing with your customers. So, a number of these changes are, they're how the world will be afterwards. Insightful companies have seen that already, and the investment that they've made in cloud is an investment for the future. Organizations may have fast-tracked a lot of this, and in doing so, obviously, these can be huge tasks. It's one thing to move one database to the cloud. It's another thing to move every database that you have in an organization to the cloud and get that done in 6 months. 20,000 databases is a lot of databases, and some organizations have that many, right? So these are ongoing efforts. I think that initial phase, that initial push in the last year, has now settled down into something that, yes, we know we need to get there. This may have been a nice to have, we'll get it done in the next couple of years prior to the pandemic. We now know that this is something that we have to do, and we have to get it done. But we have to get it done in a methodical pattern, a methodical way, in a way that fits our business processes, focusing on use cases, focusing on how we better serve our customers and streamline our operations. Because some of the problems we face and some of the challenges that we had aren't going to go away. So that's kind of what we're seeing. It's kind of moving more into a steady state with this move to the cloud not going away, but becoming more process-oriented and becoming more part of the way that organizations see themselves doing business now and into the foreseeable future.
Steve, thank you so much for taking time out today and talk about not only the company, but also the challenges that are there for real-time data integration, and how not only Striim, how the whole ecosystem is addressing this problem. So thanks for your insight, and I would love to have you back on the show. Thank you.
Thank you, Swapnil. It's an absolute pleasure.